a step-by-step method in drawing eyes. The thing about eyes is they are so important. I think they're one of the most important facial features because you can tell so much about a person based on their eyes. You can tell how they're feeling, their emotion. You can often tell if they're being honest and truthful, sad, happy, and we will begin a basic set of eyes. To line our paper up, if you would turn in your sketchbook to page 59 and 60. On the page 60, what we're going to do is divide our page up, and we are going to be putting a 5-inch line, making sure that there is room above the line because we will be putting in eyebrows, and we want to have it 5 inches and then mark off the inches. And that will make a little bit more sense as we get going. You will notice like that. So you're going to do 2 lines because we will be doing 2 sets of eyes. And we want a little bit of room for our other features. So watch how I place and do this. I'm drawing a 5-inch line. So that's 5 inches. And then I'm going to mark off 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch. This will basically indicate the side of my face. So to begin the basic eye, noticing also on the page layout that I have room above, room below, room above, room below. So that's for page placement. Now to begin our eyes, just a very, very basic rule is usually the eyes, the size of an eye is the width of the face, one eye. There are 5 of them that cross the face. So we've divided our line into 5 sections. I'm going to enlarge this to show you. Here we go. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to take a circle template because it's super important that your pupil and your iris are circles. So here is 1, here is 2, here is 3, 4, and 5. Basically, an eye is going to take up 1/5 of the front of your face. So to begin with, in putting my eye, and this is kind of, if you have a template, that works best. If you don't have a template, then you're just going to have to make a little judgment here. So I would say, watch what I do before you do it. Is I'm putting a circle, and then inside, actually, you know what? I'm going to make a larger circle than that. I happen to be using a template that has little markings. I want to get that in the center. I'm going to use that same template here, and I also want to move it over here. Now again, if you're not working with a template and you're just having to do a little judgment, start with a nice big circle, and in the middle of each of those circles, you're going to put a smaller circle which will indicate the pupil of the eye. And the goal is to have that right in the center. Mark here which one I used. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to draw the outer shape of my eye. So a couple indicators is this will be our nose area. The eye right here at the interior corners is going to slightly dip down, and this indicates the tear duct. On this side, it's going to slightly dip down and be the tear duct. So put a little tear duct hook in there. My goal is to get over to this corner. I'm going to round the corner here. I'm going to round the corner here. And I'm going to cut off the top of my circle. In going to this edge, I'm going to cut it off. Going to this edge, I'm going to cut it off. Oops. I'm going to circle around here and meet there. Slightly round here and meet here. Oftentimes people will forget this tear duct, but that's a really important little feature to put in. Now get out, so with a small eraser, we want to get out this line, which is actually right in the whites of my eye. Get out this line. And eyes take different shapes and different forms. Some people have very wide open eyes. Some people have very squinted eyes. So what's going to happen here is I want to capture the sparkle, the shine, maybe just the light reflection that is in the eye. This is going to go half in the iris and half in the pupil. And what's important about that is that if it's to the right side here, it's going to be the same place in this eye. Then begin shading, and it's kind of a little half moon shade. So I'm shading the pupil really dark, and I'm leaving that little white. Let's see if I can get my eraser in there. It always erases more than I want, but I will just go back and redraw. And this here is my shine or my sparkle or my light reflection. And now I'm going to begin to shade my iris. I like to shade in a sunshine fashion. And you can lay a little bit of lead down like this and then blend with your blender stick. This is where the color of the eye comes in. I'm going to do the same with this one. Maybe I will just use my shader stick. And again, in shading, shade like a sunshine. Now we need to put in the eyelids. And believe it or not, we're going to start with our pupil. And we're just going to put a little shade in here. We're going to draw up here. We're going to double that eye line. Oftentimes it goes together as we get to the far corner. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to put a little shade. I'm then going to come. Notice how I'm going to double that here. Now from the tear duct, there is a slight, and it might be best to use a very, very sharp pencil. It's an itty bitty line, again, that comes. So I'm going to double this line here. Now, for the sake of making it look a little more human, I'm going to erase this middle line. I'm also going to erase this line here, clean it up a little bit. Might be a great place. I often have to twist my book a little bit just because of the way my hand works. To use a very sharp pencil. And the more perfect the circle of the pupil in the iris, again, the more realistic it will begin to look. Sometimes you will find that the iris is cut off on the top and also the bottom. Sometimes you will see a little white of the eye on the bottom. Just depends on the person you're drawing, how open their eye is. Or maybe it depends on the expression. Now what we will do is, if a person's eyes are open, they then have what's called an eyelid, which is just a simple line here and a simple line here. And that is a very, very basic eye, set of eyes actually. What I would like you to do today is I would like you to put another set of eyes with an eyelid on your 5-inch line here, getting us ready to add eyebrows, eyelashes, a nose, and ears. So that's a great stopping point for today, making sure that you put in your second set of eyes. I'm going to do that, and you can watch as I do that if you want. Again, this little area here, I'm going to put my circle. I'm going to start with a pretty large circle with that line running directly through the middle. The smaller circle for the pupil. Your goal is to get it right in the middle the best you can. And now capture. It may be easier actually to erase some of these lines. And now put your sparkle. I'm going to change my sparkle in this eye. I'm going to put it, it goes half in the pupil, half in the iris, half in the pupil, half in the iris, and darken in your pupil, leaving that light reflection, sparkle, shine, white. Before I begin to shade inside the iris, I'm going to draw the basic outer shape of the eye. At this point, and at this point, my iris is going to go down and hook. My iris will go down and hook. My goal is to get, and I'm going to round this here. I'm going to round this here. I want to go across. I'm going to cut my eyeball and round. I'm going to slightly curve and come down. Come across, cut my eyeball there. Notice that in this eye, I have more of the white of the bottom showing. Erase the line that's drawn in the whites of the eye. Now, shade, attempting to keep this as circular as possible. I'm just putting some lead down so that I have something to move around with my blender stick. And I'm going to rub leaving a light reflection in the eye. Be sure that your iris is nice and round. And now add your tear ducts, which is that pink matter in your eye right here. And then your eyelid, which is a double line here. And then your lower lid, which is it often kind of melts together. So my tear duct comes up. It doubles in there. I have some extra line here that in marking my 5 inches. So I'm simply going to clean this up. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my eyelid, which is just a gentle curve above the eye. Now keep in mind this shape can be different depending on the expression of the eye, but we want to put that in first before we put in eyelashes and eyebrows, because eyelashes might cover that. And that's a very, very subtle line. So on your page today, I would like you to have 2 sets of eyes getting prepped for eyebrows, eyelashes, ears, and a nose.